There is new fallout after Senator Susan Collins' decision to vote to elevate Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Chris Costa in for Lee Goldberg. The reaction began after Senator Collins announced on Friday, ahead of the Senate vote Saturday, that she would indeed vote yes on Kavanaugh's confirmation. And now, those who are angry with her vote are calling for a boycott on visiting the state of Maine or buying any of its products until Collins is out of office.
People taking to social media using the hashtag #BoycottMaine. Join the conversation now on our YouTube and Facebook live streams. People there are urging others not to support Maine's economy while Collins still serves as Maine's U.S. Senator. A majority of the people were angry, but there were some who were saying that boycotting our state would hurt the working class people and that it's not a smart idea. So yeah, join that conversation.
Yeah, curious to see what people are saying on our Facebook and YouTube live streams. All right, felt like summer out there today.
Sure did.
Reaching into the 80s.
On Instagram, it looks like Keith Carson's enjoying this summer-like weather.
I brought the shorts back out. Today's a bad day to boycott Maine.
Remind me never to check Instagram before the show.
No,
Total distraction.
Careful what you wish for. It's a very curated group that follow me on Instagram. Anyways, high temperatures today. Average high is 61. We get to 81 in Portland, 79 in Bangor, Caribou 71, so most of us in the 70s. Holton, unfortunately, coming in short, 69 degrees, but most of us way above average, about 20 degrees above average for this time of the year. Still holding on to it, although it's worth noting that because the sun sets around 6 o'clock, these temperatures are going to fall here pretty quickly. Not going to be chilly tonight, but we're not going to be in the upper 70s all that long as the sun angle doesn't have much to work with later on. We're not the only ones in on this party. Look at this warm front, so distinct. This is like if it was in a thermodynamics textbook, which is a class we do have to take classes to do this job. So it's a class that we take, and it would be just the perfect warm front right here. Look at Montreal. You look up into Quebec, 63, Montreal, 81. Very clear line all the way into Detroit, Chicago in the mid-80s right now. We have one more day of this tomorrow, and with it, the dew points are actually relatively high in the mid and upper 60s. So here we are almost in mid-October in that uncomfortable to almost oppressive range for humidity, which is kind of how the summer had gone and now into the fall. Pretty clear on the satellite picture, losing the sun angle there a bit, but will be partly cloudy overnight tonight. The same front that brought us the warmth will come crashing back down tomorrow as a backdoor front, and so temperatures will fall over northern Maine as that front moves through, eventually gets into southern Maine by tomorrow afternoon. But before that happens, guys, another chance that could be a little bit warmer than it was today over southern Maine, and some records at stake. We'll talk about that and Michael, which is now a Category 3 hurricane, in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, thanks. Some news headlines today. A surprise this morning as Nikki Haley announced her resignation as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, effective at the end of the year. President Trump heaped praise on Haley during their joint announcement in the Oval Office, saying she did an incredible job at the UN.
And Mr. Trump said Haley could have her pick of jobs should she decide to return to the administration. Haley ended any speculation about possibly running for president in 2020, firmly stating she'll be backing President Trump for re-election. One day after Facebook launched its portal, Google stepped up its game in the home smart speaker battle with the Home Hub. The device combines a small display screen with an internet-connected speaker and digital assistant.
Google's Home Hub does not include a camera, which is different than competing products. At just under $150, Home Hub's price undercuts Facebook's portal as well as Amazon's Echo. Students in Sanford will start classes in their brand new high school tomorrow. It costs about $100 million. It's the most expensive school ever built in Maine. It replaces an overcrowded facility that was almost 50 years old. The project was delayed by vandalism back in June. One of the major questions every Maine politician will face as they run for the election this November is how they will combat the opioid crisis. These campaign-style signs by the community action group Dignity for Opiate Users each show the name of someone who died from a drug overdose in 2018.
180 people have died so far this year due to overdoses, according to the Attorney General's office. The group hopes these signs will spur further conversation with elected officials about how to tackle the epidemic. One recovery group is helping people who have made it through that struggle. Enso Recovery is holding a job fair on Thursday for people who are in recovery to re-enter the workforce. Organizers say a job is a critical part of a person's successful break from substance use. For people trying to break free from drug use, a job is a critical component.
The financial insecurity is just, it's crippling.
Executive Director of ENSO Recovery, Steve Danzig, knows this struggle and the need for a second chance.
You're never going to be worth anything, you know, et cetera, et cetera. We hear that all the time. I heard that for years when I was in active addiction.
With gaps in a resume after years of using drugs and being in and out of jail, people in recovery can struggle to get a job.
It's a huge barrier. In fact, a lot of people don't apply for a job because they have that gap.
Sheriffs in Maine indicate about 80 to 90% of the inmates in their jails are there on drug-related charges. After hundreds applied for jobs at a fair for people in recovery in Biddeford in June, the ENSO Recovery Group is bringing a similar event to Cumberland County. They're expecting more than 400 people to attend, including pre-release inmates from the jail.
It gives them stability. It gives them an opportunity to start to maybe make financial amends to people. Now they have somebody who's identified themselves as, yes, I have had this issue, but now I'm on the mend. I'm putting my life back together.
And that job fair goes from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon at the Portland Expo building. Now, there's not a lot of research right now on the recidivism rates and how those are affected by people getting a job. But the other issue that Sheriff Bill King told us about back in June at that event in Biddeford was the need for stable housing. And so Steve Danzig, who I talked to today, agrees. He says they just opened a sober house, but they expect it to be full next week, and they need more structured options, especially for low-income people.
Wow, so the need is still there. So if you need more information on that job fair, we have it at our website too. All right, I know I've been getting these messages. You said you've been getting them too?
Yeah.
All right, we'll ask you guys at home. Has a friend or family member sent you a Facebook message about your account being duplicated? We're hearing from so many of you across the area that got this same message and are wondering if it's true.
So we had our Verify team look into it. Here's what they found.
Does this look familiar? Because it's all over the internet right now. There's a lot of confusion and frankly, it's scary. I actually got another friend request from you yesterday, which I ignored, so you may want to check your account. Hold up, that means someone took my profile picture and my name and is pretending to be me? Is someone using me to catfish? All right, no, we did some digging and here are the facts. Facebook has had to take action on cloned accounts in the past, but they say it hasn't been a big issue since 2016. This message does not mean you're a victim. Facebook says it's a hoax that's unfortunately still spreading. And if you've shared this message, you might unknowingly be part of the problem. See, the second part says to hit forward and send to all the people you want. Yeah, don't do this. By sharing this message, you're making your friends think that their account has been cloned and is at risk, even if it hasn't been. Now, here's 2 things you can do to look out for yourself. 1, search for yourself on Facebook. There are hundreds of Jason Pucketts, none using my profile. I'm clear. And 2, if you do get a friend invite from someone you're already friends with, just let them know and then the 2 of you can notify Facebook together. So yeah, this claim, false.
It's really, really interesting because I actually am looking at this message now from Saturday, and it's exactly what he just described, but also we're going to be careful about forwarding it on. It kind of continues the rumor, so to speak.
Yeah, I was nervous when I first got it. I thought, oh no, because this has happened to me before. And I also on Facebook get mistaken for Lindsay Mills in regards to the Edward Snowden case, the mistress. So people will message me all the time from out of country thinking, and it's just, yeah. So I've been confused before. Anyway.
Now you know if you see it, leave it alone, contact Facebook.
Exactly. Okay, a great day for weather in Maine, but winter got an early start in Colorado. Snow covering trees and homes in a neighborhood near Denver today.
Winter just checking in and saying hi to people in Colorado. Hopefully it takes a little time before coming to Maine. Today's weather, though, obviously ideal for a fall field trip, especially for one we tagged along for off the coast today.
Definitely not like regular classes.
Students in Maine are getting college credits to find a real-world solution. They hope sustainable energy will keep the lights on at Goat Island Light.
So it's...
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Facebook. So it's funny, I have this message.
Now, did you get it from somebody you would normally hear from on Facebook Messenger or no?
This is somebody who, so this is my work account. In case you guys don't know, Facebook is a little difficult for people who work in actually. And if you guys have a page, right, it's different from an account. So with a page, you can't initiate a message. If I want to message you, I have to do it from an account.
Right.
So I have a work account. If you have any news-related stories, you can always message me, and I'll message you right back. But this is one that I use to reach out to people on Facebook. And so this is somebody who had friended me on Facebook. I hear from them frequently. They like the articles that I post. And so I saw the message, and I was like, I knew right away. This stuff, it just, I don't know. I feel like if you get anything that says please forward and pass this along to everybody you know, that should be a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It should be, definitely. And I think there was even like spelling errors in there too, grammar errors. That's always something to keep watch over too. I know. I've had my Facebook hacked before. Have you had anything hacked before? And I never got a message like that when that happened.
Only
basically, somebody hacked my Google email address.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, and that's how they got to everything else.
Mine I haven't really had anything crazy like that. It's mostly been like, I went to a store that had a data breach, so all your credit card information is compromised. But I haven't had anything like my social media, luckily. Knock on wood, this is glass, so great, that's going well. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm lucky on that front. I haven't had that happen to you. Has this ever happened to you guys? Have you guys ever been hacked? I know I did that story about Jaden Case Smith like many, many months ago.
Some people are saying they did get that Facebook message too. Lynn says she got it. But yeah, a lot of you guys are watching.
Let's see.
We have some discussion over whether I think addiction is a disease.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm not sure I can settle this debate here on a Facebook Live, but I can tell you from other stories I've done. I actually did that story about Suboxone in the ER at Midcoast Hospital recently.
Right.
And both the doctors, not just the one who works in the recovery center, but also the director of the ER, saying that it's a disease. It's not a choice. So anyway, we'll get more to that in the next break.
The behavior is a disease, yeah.
A Maine lobstering family has adopted 2 new rare lobsters as pets, at least for now.
All right, fair.
Greg and Debbie Turner of Scarborough described the lobsters they caught off the coast of Pine Point as calico-colored and a highly unusual shade of lavender. The Turners say they plan to keep the pair.
Greg says he caught the calico lobster in September and his son caught the lavender one in July. Turner, who has been lobstering for several decades, says he has never seen a lobster like the lavender one. The crustaceans are living out their days safe from lobster pots at the Turner Family Lobster Company on Pine Point Road.
So Turner says he's going to keep them for a few more weeks until his business closes for the winter, and then he's going to offer them to an aquarium. And if the aquarium doesn't want them, they will head back to the ocean. Pretty cool. All right, you all are sending in a nice mix of That's So Maine posts to our social media feeds recently. I noticed this post last week from the Wells Police Department, some goat herding going on Meeting House Road.
That's so sweet. That's a little bit of traffic there. Oh, look, at least they got to the side eventually. That's much safer, don't you think?
Yeah.
They were getting too close to that center line before. All right, from goats now to birds, let's look at this flock of turkeys in Benton. Thanks, Brittany, for posting this photo. I'm seeing turkeys everywhere now.
I know, right? Even in my backyard. Cassius Play with a funny post from New Gloucester. The face of satisfaction. Also the face of a boy so overwhelmed by blueberry syrup he forgot his manners or the ability to properly use silverware.
That's not how you eat French toast?
I eat mine with my hands. So there's usually a lot of hand washing to do afterward. All right, the Red Sox are 1 win away from making the next round of the baseball playoffs. They crushed the Yankees last night in a historic 16-1 win, and one player made some history of his own. Brock Holt became the first player ever to hit for the cycle in a playoff game. That means he hit a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. He didn't even play in the first 2 games of the series, and he secured his place in history with a 2-run homer.
By the way, that home run was off New York's backup catcher Austin Romine, who was pitching the 9th inning in an effort to preserve his team's bullpen. With a win tonight, the Red Sox would then face the defending champion, the Houston Astros, in the ALCS.
Very cool. I know Jess Gagne, Rob Nesbitt, Bill Green have been busy covering that one.
They sure have been. All right, coming up, students are trying to help an entire island get off the power grid.
Plus, Keith Carson has your full forecast coming up next, but hopefully no short shorts. Let's go to the Mons.
That's
Notice the empty stands?
perfect.
Baseball footage? I feel like the crowd just bailed.
Yeah. Well, 16-1, I don't blame.
Oh, really? Hold on. Ken's no longer here. Do you have Ken's number? Anybody have Ken's number?
Yeah, I have it. Why?
Ken didn't attach the package to the show. Oh, he's doing it now.
Okay.
Nate, are you good? I think you just have to throw it on the timeline and send it. The package. Can we put something in front of it?
Do
Hey, Isaac?
weather first.
Yeah, Isaac, can we put something in front of it? Thank you.
We're at the Mons, by the way. Oh. Should we, so do we need to be should we be at the desk first then?
Yeah, let's do it from the desk because the,
And then go to the Mons during weather? Okay. Is that what Isaac said?
yeah, well.
I'm just not hearing him.
No, he didn't say that. I just think that's what we should do because we have nothing to intro weather on at the monitors.
Okay.
Thanks, Keith. Sorry.
It's all right. I'm good. I'm ready to go. Who's your prompter?
Yeah. Okay.
I've got all kinds of
Clay, do what you gotta do. We're in snap maps. We'll be fine.
Honestly, I just have to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna take off there.
That sounds
Okay.
good.
I really want to make sure he gives his prompter.
Yeah, I can't do the weather without that. You know that.
You know what I was thinking about doing, Keith? From this side of the green screen, you could see like you pointing and touching. I wanted to kind of touch you from the other side.
Derek's grabbed my butt many times. Which, for the position he's standing, is a real feat. You know, it's.
That reminds me of United Roxbury.
Yeah, sir. From where I'm standing, it's physically an impossibility. That's a great movie in a terrible way.
Hey, Clay, I think C9 was bumped up.
Isaac's taking care of your prompter now.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
So we
Is it good?
a large piece.
Thank
of
you. The
that
package?
slab place.
Awesome. Thank you.
Like,
It
slab.
should be,
Did you guys
it's
go to
sending now.
Slab? Did you go to Slab to see?
I love Slab.
Their piece of
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of you, us included, enjoying this fabulous day outside today. So great opportunity to check in Snap Maps and see exactly what you were up to through your eyes. This first one is at one of my favorite places in Maine, Portland Headlight. The water and the sun reflecting off it was just so beautiful if you were anywhere near the water earlier today.
All right, this second one is a nice day at the beach in Scarborough. I just cannot believe we are talking about people at the beach in shorts, in flip-flops, and we're almost practically in mid-October. And I know, Keith, that we usually kind of get this one random week. This happened to us last year,
A
where we
day
had
or two at least,
yeah.
yeah.
But to be talking about this is pretty cool.
Nobody's going in.
No, nobody's going in the water. We're going to go to Colby College too real quick because look at this, beautiful. These were the days in the fall I loved walking to class because it's the best in New England.
When the temperature and the yearly tuition are the same, things are good at Colby College.
That's one way to
You
look
know,
at it. I'll tell you what, this is my first New England fall in 4 years, and I'm like
right.
driving on the highway, I'm like this.
Oh, the Peoria has color,
soaking
right?
it. Well,
they have
not as
some.
vibrant.
Yeah, they don't have the same kind of trees.
Not
That's part
as
of it.
vibrant,
Yeah.
and I'm just loving it.
It is.
Like
It's-
every second.
So far, I rate this as above average, but not as brilliant as 2 years ago.
Oh.
So we had a drought a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, and the colors Coco probably remembers were unbelievable because
Right.
the
Really?
trees were stressed. This is like above average. So far below that, but we don't have a drought, so that's the positive end of things. All right, currently still 80 in Portland, 76 in Bangor, 70 in Caribou. So yeah, a warm day, about 20 degrees above average. Chris is right though, we tend to have 1 or 2 rogue days in October. It gets more and more unusual the later you get into the month, of course. So here we are almost mid-month, so it's a little on the late side. Look at the warm front though, it's so distinct. Right between Quebec and Montreal and Marquette and Chicago, there's where your air mass change is. We have one more warm day over central and southern Maine, but that front's going to come crashing back through tomorrow, and temperatures will go down with it. There's the front. Actually, some severe weather on the other side of this, but this front has reached its northernmost extent. Now it will come back down as a backdoor front, as I mentioned, tomorrow. You'll see it right there. Watch that front come through. Tonight, by the way, in the 60s overnight, so not cool at all for this time of the year. You start tomorrow morning, you're in the upper 60s. In a lot of spots, on the way to low 80s over southern Maine, but northern Maine in the 40s by midday as that front really cools them down, and we continue to warm up over southwestern Maine, and then the front comes through statewide on Wednesday night, and then rain comes in Thursday afternoon into Thursday night, back to reality, temperatures in the 50s and some pretty chilly downpours in there by Thursday evening. Here tomorrow's high temperatures anywhere from 46 to 83, so not that big a swing, depends on your location, but you can see that it's obviously a southern Maine warmth, and then it cools down over northern Maine as the day progresses. Here's Michael, bad news here. This thing looks better and better. Each satellite look we have at it, now a Category 3 storm as it approaches northern Florida. It will make landfall most likely. I believe they have it making landfall as a 3 now, and it is a strengthening 3, which is dangerous. Then going up the eastern seaboard, at that point it will be a tropical depression. All indications are that that will get kicked out to sea by a cold front, so it'll get closest to us Friday night, Saturday. Be a little breezy. More so, though, it pulls in some cooler air on the back end for the weekend and bringing us back down into the 50s. So I don't think that'll be a direct hit for us in any way, but something to watch. Kind of a nasty day on Thursday after another nice day tomorrow. The weekend looks pretty good. We'll call it partly cloudy on Saturday and then mostly sunny on Sunday. And it will be coolish. In fact, next Tuesday and next Thursday, the mountains have a chance to mix with some snow. So October is going to do its thing one way or another, and we're going to get that colder air in here next week.
And you'll be on the slopes.
I'll be ready to go. The hype train has left the station. People who are into skiing are excited.
Wow. So one minute we're wearing shorts, next minute you got your skis.
It happens. You know, they call it snow leach. It happens almost every year. We get a little bit of snow with the foliage. It does happen quite a bit. So.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Keith, thank you. Finding purpose off the coast of Cape Porpoise. Students from a Maine high school and a university are joining forces to see what it will take for an entire island to go off the power grid, and the timing is urgent.
The lighthouse keeper of more than 20 years at Goat Island Light says they are running on borrowed time. The underground cable that brings power to the island is beginning to break. Students say solar, wind, and tidal power are likely solutions.
Getting to Goat Island off the coast of Cape Porpoise is the highlight for students from Kennebunk High School. It's part of a class where they earn college credit.
Well, to be honest with you, I've taken other environmental science courses before, and this one was much more interactive.
Tuesday marked their latest trip out to collect data.
Solar, wind, and tidal.
Roxanne James is a senior at University of New England. Her college peers are taking the same Gulf of Maine Studies class as the high school students.
The solar panel altogether was less than $50, and it was all made at UNE's Makerspace.
Together, they're figuring out how much solar, wind, and tidal power it would take to get Goat Island off the power grid.
This project is just amazing.
Leah Lowry is the Director of Education for the Kennebunk Port Conservation Trust, which owns the island. She says some students have come full circle.
Some of these kids went through our programs as elementary schoolers, and they're back now with me in high school and been tromping on these islands since they were in kindergarten, so it's been great to have them back and sort of see that connection again.
And the solution they're working on is twofold. Save the environment, save money. An underground cable that brings power to the island is failing. It would be expensive to replace, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. The plan? Run the island's lighthouse and historic home on solar, wind, or tidal energies.
It feels great to actually be a part of a solution and actually know that you're actually helping to create change for your community.
The Gulf of Maine Research Institute, which covers the entire Gulf from Cape Cod to Nova Scotia, brought the groups together to get this going.
I begin to worry about the environment, and particularly with climate change and all of these other issues, and sensing that a lot of young people who inherit these problems.
An opportunity the students and teachers alike couldn't resist. And so this project at Goat Island is the most advanced of 4 similar pilot programs by the Gulf of Maine Institute in Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts.
Really cool idea, and almost like a test, so to see if you can get this one area running completely off of these types of power.
Yeah, a historic home and a lighthouse. I'm sure 207 Travels have taken you there at some point to Goat Island.
I actually have a goal to go to a new island in Maine to do a story every summer, and I failed this year.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Summer's not over, it's 80 degrees.
I know, today was the day to be out there.
What's coming up at 5:30, Rob?
All right, coming up in the next half hour, here are some of the stories we'll be telling you about. Some new recommendations are being considered to make riding a motorcycle safer in Maine, and those recommendations could affect thousands of riders. News Center Maine's Clay Gordon takes a look at what may be on the way. And the Portland Jetport has enjoyed impressive growth for several years, but now a reversal. One of the Jetport's major airlines says it is cutting back its service. We'll tell you why that is happening. Those stories and more will ahead on News Center at 5:30.
All right, Rob, thanks so much. More now when we come back. So no new island this summer?
We get to a new one.
Where'd you go last year? Monhegan?
No.
Was that 2 years ago?
Last year we didn't go to Appleton last year. God, I'm going blank, but we did get to a new one last year. This year I wanted to get to Seguin. I didn't have a good idea until really late, and then it was too late.
Oh, it's a bummer. But have you been to Goat Island? It was really cool. You can see it right from the Cape Porpoise Pier.
Yeah.
And the lighthouse keeper and his wife have lived there, I think, 26, 27 years.
Oh my gosh.
And they live there from like spring to December. They stay for the Flying Santa, and then they leave. But yeah, it's really cool. He says their kids used to kayak to school. Special.
That's good stuff.
Kayak to school.
Yeah.
I'll
kayak
take my bike.
to catch
I'll
the bus.
take my kayak.
Yeah.
I have to tell you guys a funny GPS story, actually.
Was that when your
the
GPS
kayak
told you to
thing.
kayak? You told our Facebook viewers
okay,
before.
I think I did.
When you were in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Let's see.
So what are we talking here? 1:15.
Basically about how we briefly discussed this with Florence, how
A lot of people
it was
say
a category 1, but it was a much bigger deal than that. And so is there a better system for categorizing hurricanes? Because all the Saffir-Simpson scale takes into account is wind speed. That's it. And so we're just going to talk about that a little bit.
Gotcha. Jeff, I'm sorry, my stuff's everywhere.
It's mostly
I'll
mine,
get
actually. I had 2 phones. I got 2 phones.
2 phones, who dis? So we ordered pizza from Slab for delivery, and so Paula ordered a large or whatever because I don't think we bought a slice there once. That's it. It is a ridiculous amount of pizza. It was literally
Really?
2 boxes full of pizza, and their slices are like,
Oh,
So
they're already huge.
Did you put some in the freezer
well,
for like
we ate
later?
some, and then our realtor was doing our open house, and he was like, "Hate to be this guy. Do you guys have any food?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's some pizza in there." And he's like, "Was that a pizza party? There's so much." He ate it. We ate it the next night for dinner, and then the next open house, he's like, "Where's the rest of it?" I'm like, "Oh, we threw a little away." He's like, "I knew you guys didn't eat all that." That's
Wow.
ridiculous.
What are we talking about?
I thought you were going to serve it at the party.
Yeah.
At the open house.
Cookies, I think, is when people do that.
Yeah.
The deadliest effects.
So we talked about this a little bit during Florence, and now we have Michael, and I thought it'd be a good time to bring this up. The hurricane scale, Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only takes into account wind speed. That's it. And so take it, for example, Florence. That was a big deal. A lot of damage was done, lost lives. That was a category 1. Meanwhile, Michael's a 3, and we don't know what it's going to do, but it could be a chance because of where it's hitting, and it's moving faster, that it may be less damaging than category 1 Florence. So that begs the question, can we fix this system? And I think it's a debate going on within meteorologists and hurricane experts. The concern is too much information confuses people. So what if we say, this is a Cat 1 for wind, but it's a Cat 4 for flooding, and a Cat 3 for storm surge. That's the only way you could really do it, and I'm not sure that that would help people communicate risk. But you can understand it. Everyone said, oh, it's only a category 1.
Right, but it's going to sit. But if it's Cat 1 and it's slow and it sits there and it just dumps rain,
and times out with the storm surge.
Right, storm surge, and so flooding is the biggest threat here. And winds are just a small percentage. I believe it's about 25 or 30% of damage in a hurricane and deaths. So I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Is there a cumulative scale that could better communicate so people don't say it's only a Cat 1 and then 15, 20 people die? You know?
Yeah, something maybe needs to change.
Yeah.
Keith, thanks. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now. Bye, guys.